Hey everyone, Justin here. We've been talking a lot about trigonometry lately, the unit circle, and the sine, cosine, and tangent values that come from it. We've also looked at some real-life applications of sine and cosine functions. And I hope you know this by now, but triangles are real too. Don't believe me? Here are some real-world examples. Which one of these triangles is different from all the others, though? There's no one right answer here, but here's what I notice. The triangle forming this ramp has a right angle. The rest don't. You already know how to find the area and angle measurements of right triangles, but what about these other ones? How do we find areas and angle measures for them? Let's get into it. All triangles that don't have a right angle have a special name. They're called oblique triangles. In the real world, perfectly right triangles aren't all that common. We're much more likely to come across oblique triangles. But we still need to be able to find areas, missing side lengths, and missing angle measures. But how do we do that when there's no right angle to work with? Well, it turns out the trigonometry you already know is more powerful than you might think. Here's an oblique triangle. Can you use sine to find the measure of angle A? Well, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, right? And it looks like the side opposite angle A is 7.07, but what's the hypotenuse of this triangle? It doesn't have one. It's oblique, not right. So what can we do? Here's the secret. We can draw in an altitude, a line segment from one vertex and perpendicular to the opposite side. That gives me two right triangles inside my oblique one. In this right triangle, is it possible to use sine to find the measure of angle A? Sure is. Sine is still opposite over hypotenuse, and that's 5 over 13.35. And what's the actual degree measure of angle A? You reviewed this step in your warm-up. To find it, you need your calculator and inverse sine. We can type in sine inverse of 5 over 13.35, and we get 21.99538. Rounding that to the nearest tenth gives us 22 degrees. Now, what if I erase that altitude? The triangle goes back to being oblique. But is the sine of angle A still equal to 5 over 13.35? Sure is. The sine of an angle doesn't change just because we removed the altitude. It doesn't matter whether the right triangle is visible or not. The sine of 22 degrees is always the sine of 22 degrees. And this is true for every oblique triangle. Every oblique triangle has right triangles hiding inside it. You just have to draw in an altitude to see them. And since those right triangles are always there, the trigonometry you already know applies to every triangle, not just the ones with a visible right angle. So now that we know you can do trig on any triangle, here's a real-world example that shows why it matters. A surveyor needs to find the horizontal distance between point A and point B to figure out whether building a bridge across this river is even feasible. Measuring directly is impossible because of the river and the terrain. But a surveyor can stand at point C and use surveying tools to measure the distances from C to A and from C to B. In addition, the angles at A, B, and C can be calculated. This process, using measured angles and known distances in a triangle to find unknown measurements, is called triangulation. Before we can find the length of the bridge, we need to understand a trig tool that the surveyor can use in this oblique triangle. It's called the law of sines, and here's how it works. I've got my triangle labeled by its vertices A, B, and C. Notice that the vertices use capital letters and their opposite sides use the same letters but in lowercase. Now I'm going to drop an altitude again from point B, perpendicular to the opposite side. I'll call that h for height. Quick check. Is h a hypotenuse? No, it's not. We're using h specifically for height here, not hypotenuse. Don't mix those up. But look at what h does. It divides our oblique triangle into two right triangles. And now we can use the right triangle trigonometry we already know. What's the sine of angle A? Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So from angle A, the opposite side is h, and the hypotenuse is side C. So the sine of A equals h over C. Now let's do the same thing for angle C. What's the sine of angle C? The opposite side is h again, and the hypotenuse with angle C is side A. So the sine of C equals h over A. Now remember, the surveyor has not measured h directly. It's just an imaginary line we drew in. But watch what happens when we do a little algebra. Starting with the first equation, I'll multiply both sides by the denominator of c to isolate h. The c's cancel out, and c times the sine of A is equal to h. Now let's do the same thing with the second equation. Multiply both sides by the denominator A. The a's cancel, and we can write A times the sine of C is equal to h. Both of these expressions are equal to h, so they must be equal to each other. C times the sine of A equals A times the sine of C. We're almost there. To make this as clean and useful as possible, let's divide both sides by A times C. The C's cancel on the left, and the A's cancel on the right, leaving us with the sine of A over A equals the sine of C over C. And the same reasoning can be extended to include angle B with side B. And it also extends to all triangles. It's known as the law of sines, and it tells us that in any triangle, the ratio of the sine of an angle to the length of its opposite side is the same for every angle-side pair in the triangle. Extending this same reasoning tells us that angle B and side B are also included. So, we have the full law of sines available with all three ratios. To find the bridge length, I need a pair that includes the unknown side C. I'll use sine of angle A over side A equals sine of angle C over side C, since we know both angle A and side A. We could have also used angle B and side B. We have that pair too, but any known pair works and will give us the same answer. Substitute in what we know, and we get sine of 38 over 210 equals sine of 78 over C. We're solving for C here, so let's multiply both sides by C. Cancel the C's on the right, and then multiply both sides by 210 over sine of 38 to get C equals sine of 78 times 210 divided by sine of 38. Great, now our expression is solved for C, but I won't be able to find an answer without using a calculator. I'll show you using one type of calculator. Yours might be a little different. First, since the other angles are given in degrees, I'll go into the mode settings and ensure my calculator is set to degrees. Now we're ready to type in our expression for C. Remember, it's best to type everything in at once using the proper parentheses and order of operations instead of trying to do this in multiple steps. I'll type in sine of 78, making sure to close my parentheses there, multiply that by 210, and divide by the sine of 38, closing my parentheses again. Hit enter, and I get 333.6427. Rounding to the nearest tenth gives me a bridge length of 333.6 meters. Pause the video here and make sure that whatever calculator you're using will give you the same answer. If not, check your calculator settings and make sure you've typed the expression in correctly. All set? Great. Let's finish with one final example. For this one, I'll help you get started and then have you finish it on your own. Here we need to find the missing angle measure at vertex B. When working with oblique triangles, the first question to ask yourself is always, do I have a known matching pair? One angle and its opposite side. Yes, we do. We have a 22-degree angle and its opposite side is 5 units. Next, we look at the value we're trying to find, in this case angle B, and look to see if we have its corresponding side length. Since we know that side B is 13, that means we can indeed use the law of sines to find x, which is the measure of angle B. Now, try just the first step on your own. Set up a proportion that'll let you find the missing angle. While you're at it, be sure your calculator is in the correct mode. Once you have that, come on back and we'll check your work. How'd you do? My proportion is the sine of 22 over 5 equals the sine of B over 13. And what mode should the calculator be in? In degrees, right, since the other angle measure was given in degrees. If you've got all of that ready to go, then try solving for B on your own. To begin isolating the variable, I multiplied both sides by the denominator of 13. The 13's canceled, and I rewrote the equation as sine of B equals 13 times the sine of 22 divided by 5. Now, I could calculate that right-hand side as a decimal first, which would give me about 0.97398, and then take the inverse sine of that decimal value. But it's cleaner and more accurate to skip that middle step entirely and just type the whole expression into your calculator at once. Sine inverse, open parentheses, 13 times sine of 22, close parentheses, divided by 5, close parentheses again. Make sure your calculator is in degree mode, and you should get the same answer. The measure of angle B is 76.9 degrees. To recap, an oblique triangle is any triangle that has no right angle. The law of sines tells us that in any triangle, the ratio of the sine of an angle to the length of its opposite side is the same for every angle side pair. That's what makes it so useful. To use the law of sines, you always need to start with a known angle side pair, one angle and the side directly opposite it. And if you're solving for a missing angle instead of a side, don't forget to finish with inverse sine to get the actual degree measure. Stay curious, and I'll see you next time.
Hey, hey.